And I like what you say about being good at traveling. I like to think I'm pretty good at traveling too. And that's how you and I first met, right?
Yeah.
We met because we were running in the same travel circle. And
Yeah.
then, that's what got us to meet. But here you are now, you're also a singer songwriter. And I've got this podcast that focuses on music and travel. So
Yeah.
you are like the poster child for Roots Music Rambler.
I've
Um,
I've been called the poster child for way worse, so I am excited to be here.
That's
I love that.
fantastic. That's awesome. Um, and so yeah, being good at travel, and so the concept of Roots Music Rambler for me when I first had the idea was to travel to the places that inspires the music that I love and get to
Yeah.
the roots of it. And so what you set out to do is, I don't know, is it parallel? Is it opposite, inside out, or whatever? I don't know, but the travel and the music theme, they kind of go together. And there was a quote, Jason, I think I shared it with you about like, since the beginning of time, people have always moved, and so has music.
Hmm.
So you can't almost like we can't exist without both, or you can't have one without the other. I don't know, it's probably a little too philosophical for a Sunday afternoon, but that's where I kind of drew the inspiration for this. And so
Yeah.
when Jason and I were talking about resurrecting this, I was like, we got to get Mike on, because this is like, he's the embodiment of the spirit of Roots Music Rambler.
Keep talking, don't stop complimenting me. I really love that. I love that. This space is such a unique space, and I really don't think it's explored very much. Like, there are a lot of intersections that I think movies can elevate, that I think
For
music
sure.
can elevate, that I think TV shows or streamable anything, like situations can elevate. National Geographic is good at it, like publications, but like I don't think many of them are doing it intentionally. I think it's all just like a byproduct of what
Hmm.
they're trying to shoot or what they're trying to portray or the story they're trying to tell. What I find exciting, that I think you do too, especially with how you just described this podcast, is like that space, that intersection between music and and space or place or city or country, like that in itself is interesting to me.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And I think
For
it's
sure.
super rife with like amazing stories and amazing connections. Not just looking at it through the lens of like, this is a type of music from this place, which is always interesting, but that's sort of more of like a documentary feel. For me, the more creative feel or artistic feel that I can bring to the fore is how how do you use this space? How does this
Yes.
space affect the actual works of art that you're creating?
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty exciting.
Well, and I think if from the dumb guy third party looking at the two of you having this conversation and understanding a little bit about both of you, the way I would sort of distill this down for the audience is what Roots Music Rambler tries to do is understand how the place impacts the art that comes out of it. So
Yes.
how does Eastern Kentucky affect Dwight Yoakam, right? What
Yep.
informed his music because that was where he was from. The difference in what you do is you actually go to other places, not where you're from,
Yeah.
and let the place impact what you create. So it's really
100%.
this interesting circle.
Yes. Agreed. And I mean, I can't, pretend like where I'm from and what I experienced when I was growing up, isn't a huge part of, and won't always be a huge part of what I do and the conversation that I'm able to have, musically or literary wise, or anything that I'm making. It's always going to be a big part of me, and where I came from still influences me, of course. But part of growing up for me was traveling, and now, like you said, like I actively want to explore how putting myself in other places will continue to affect me in different ways.